So, few topics today. There's a teacher named Ephraim Palvanov, and he says in Sukkah 52a of the Talmud, it says, "What's the nature of the eulogy?" From Zechariah 12. So verse 9 it says, "In that they all but annihilate all the nations that came up against Jerusalem." In verse 10 it says, "But I'll fill the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem with a spirit of pity and compassion, and they shall lament to me about those who were slain, wailing over them as a favorite son and showing bitter grief as over a firstborn." Verses 10 to 14 it says, "Jerusalem will wail, the land, each of the families, the house of David and their women, house of Nathan and their women, house of each of the families by themselves, house of David and their women, house of Nathan and their women, house of Levi and their women, house of Shimei and their women." Rabbi Dosa and the rabbis disagree concerning this matter. One said it's for Mashiach ben Yosef, who was killed in the war of Gog and Magog, and one said it's for the evil inclination that was killed. So that's interesting to think about. And speaking of families, I want to share about my family. But before I go there, there's a few other topics. So I want to talk about different things that occurred on the 1st of Nisan. It's not yet. I mean, we're now getting towards the end of Shvat. Then we have a month of Adar, and then we have Nisan. So the first that occurred on the first day of Nisan, which is also called the Rosh Hashanah for kings and festivals, Shabbos 87b in the Rashi. So that's from Talmud. It says beginning of the week, offerings of the Nisim, which are the princes, service of the priests, the Kohanim, 4 temple sacrifices, 5 holy fire descending on the Mizbeach, the altar. The koshin is eaten in the Mishkan. These are the consecrated foods. And 7, the Shekhinah resting among the people, the divine indwelling presence. So the feminine aspect kind of, but really just the presence, the Holy Spirit really. 8, Kohanim, the priests, recited the priestly blessing. 9, the Bamos, the high places, the temporary altars were outlawed. There's different time periods anyway, obviously. And 10, the first month of the new year is beginning. So I have a new year starting for myself. My birthday's coming up. Both my secular birthday, like my solar birthday, and also my lunar solar birthday, which is my Jewish birthday. And then we have Nisan. So better to start thinking about this now. What does the new year for kings and festivals really means? This I really got from from learning. And two more pieces before I go to my family, my grandparents, great grandparents. We're talking a lot here about the temple and the location. So I want to give the coordinates for the Kodesh HaKodashim. This is the Holy of Holies. So we said the divine presence would fill up the space, right? And it was like it kept going away as time went on. But originally they had that there. This is the Holy of Holies, the place. So it's 31 degrees by 46 dash, and then 40.8. So that's the coordinates north, and 35 degrees, and then 14 dash, and then 7.44, and that's east. And one more thing. It's about a year ago. Someone told me I'm a suspender. She said I'm radiating a extremely strong aura, which is like 2.4 gigahertz, but it could go up to 3 and then even 5. And I reflected on it. She said I should be giving seminars. And so I was recognizing I'm writing down wisdom like a scribe. These are what I'm sharing here, like when they were writing down in the Talmud. And I was just sharing from the Talmud, right? From all the parts of the world I came in contact with, I'm looking for a way to transmit. And so I do these YouTube videos, but they do get very low views, and I don't see that they impact many people. And I wrote that as of, maybe already mid 2024. And hopefully I'll find my audience successfully. So that was just a comment about, because I'm sharing from the Talmud, and then I'm sharing, I'm the one sharing. So, and then now we're going to talk about my great-grandparents, starting with Yeshua and Sarah Hecht Oster. He also goes by Shia. He was born 1896. He was second-generation American, and their 6 boys included my grandfather, Shlomo Zalman. So they were all third-generation American, and they lived in Brownsville in a home built on Torah, even despite rampant Americanization. So I just want to say, I got all this information from Jenny and David Zaklikowski. He wrote the Star-Spangled Syrian Rabbi, Mishpacha.org, about my grandfather's brother. So this is where a lot of information came from. They had a home of tzedakah, which is charity, Hafnasis Archim, which is welcoming guests. Rabbanim, like rabbis, heads of communities, heads of congregations from Israel, Eretz Israel, the land of Israel in Europe, And they were all welcome, always welcome for a kosher meal, even an extended stay. Reb Shia, my great-grandfather, and Sarah, my great-grandmother, often were giving up their bedroom, and often their sons also gave up their room. In the autobiography called My Spiritual Journey, my grandfather's brother says that Shia, the father, used to insist on giving up his own seat at the head of the table in deference to a rabbinic guest, and he says, Tati, my father, personally provided fresh linen and blankets for each visitor, as well as nagavasser, the ritual hand-washing cup and container, and towel for when they woke up. The six brothers learned at Yeshivas Rabbeinu Chaim, Berlin, and later at Torah Vodaas in Williamsburg. My grandfather, the oldest brother, while at Torah Vodaas, started attending a weekly study group on the Tanya, which was written by the founder of Chabad. They were not Chabad. The founder of Chabad is the Alter Rebbe, the Grand Master, called Rabbi Shneir Zalman of Liadi. So this group was formed by Rabbi Yisrael Jacobson, a Lubavitcher Chassid who reached USA in 1925 and was a Rav in Brownsville. So my grandfather, Shlomo Zalman, was born February 9th, 1917. And teens and young men could share their thoughts and questions and quandaries on the Torah in modern America. My grandfather, married Rabbi Yisrael Jacobson's daughter. So this was actually another great-grandfather of mine. So we talked about two of my great-grandfathers. The Frierdiker Rebbe, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, not the seventh, the sixth, escaped Europe and reopened the Lubavitcher Yeshiva in East Flatbush in 1940. Avram Dov and Yaakov Yehuda, two brothers of my grandfather, were among the first 10 students. In 1885, Shia, my great-grandfather's father, married to Drezel Hecht, whose previous name pre-marriage was Thiman, and he was named Hirsch Meilech, or Tzvi Hirsch. A Shinover Chassid reached American shores with the blessings of his Rebbe, Rebbe Cheskel Halberstam. The Rebbe knew of Hirsch Meilech's piety and stringent Torah observance, and therefore harbored no hesitation concerning his journey to the Treifa Medina, or the not kosher city, the land where many Jews would throw off their yoke of Judaism, America. After trying his hand in business, he ran a local mikveh, which is a place where people would immerse either on a daily basis or weekly basis, depends on their level, and on Prospect Place in Brownsville. It was a popular stop for many Rabbanim and Meshulachim who came to raise money for their institutions. They were like messengers and leaders. Hirsch Meilech would often wrap a few dollars in a towel and give it to the needy when they came. And I want to share from Rabbi Yisrael Jacobson. That was the other great grandfather. So before I continue, and one more thing about Hirsch Meilech, bad news. He was murdered while he was working there, and he honored the Frierdiker Rebbe, the sixth Lubavitcher Rebbe, who visited, and the Frierdiker Rebbe blessed him. He refused to take money from him. He treated him with great honor and made it beautiful for him. This is Hirsch Meilech, and he said his grandchildren would become his Hasidim, like Hirsch Meilech's grandchildren would become the Frierdiker Rebbe's Hasidim. So anyway, Rabbi Yisrael Jacobson met these grandchildren, his grandchildren, and he was the one who taught them Tanya, and then they became Lubavitch Chabad Hasidim. So Rabbi Yisrael Jacobson's wife was Shana Jacobson, who I'm named for. Her previous name was Levin, and her father was Yeshua Herschel Levin, and her mother was Chaya Sarah. Now, Rabbi Yisrael Jacobson's daughter was Chaya Sarah, Helen. She married Shlomo Zalman Hecht, my grandfather. So this is my grandmother's parents. My grandmother's grandmother was named Chaya Sarah. She was named after her grandmother. I was named after my great-grandmother. And so Chaya Sarah married Shlomo Zalman Hecht, and Rabbi Yisrael's mother, and then Rabbi Yisrael, the one who taught them, his mother was Freda Malkov, and his father was Jacob Leib Jacobson. And Shia's wife, Sarah Oster, so there's a lot of Sarahs going on, her parents were named Yeshaya, Shia Oster, and Esther Oster. So she married Shia, similar to her father's name, and he married a Sarah, and that was similar so we see a lot of the Sarahs here. Okay, continuing here. So in 1908, Shia Hecht traveled to Jerusalem to learn at Yeshivas Chaye Olam for 6 years. So this is Shia Hecht, my great-grandfather. And the Oster grandparents lived in Greenpoint, and they hosted the Hecht boys. So this is Sarah Oster's parents. They lived in Greenpoint in Brooklyn, and they hosted the Hech Boys with the Baal Shem Tov stories, who's the founder of Hasidism, and other Hasidic rebbes on Shabbos with big candles, because they couldn't afford to leave the electricity on the whole Shabbos. On a snowy day, there was a slow-moving trolley. The Shia Oster got off before Yeshaya Oster, my great-grandmother's father, got off. This is my grandfather's grandfather, got off of the trolley before Shabbos, gave his wallet to the conductor, and walked home. And after Shabbos, the conductor came to return it. He walked home in the snow, and everything was still inside of the wallet when he came to return it. Once, Reb Avram Hecht was awake. This is my grandfather's brother. Was awakened by heart-rending sobs and walked out to see his grandfather crying on the floor. And his bubby, her name was Esther's grandmother, got him softly walking back to bed by the hand gently. And he asked, "Why is his Zaidi, his grandfather, crying?" And she said, Reb Shayla was reciting Tikkun Chatzos, the correcting or the prayers for the middle of the night, the prayer morning the Beis Hamikdash, the Holy Temple destruction. We talked about the Holy Temple before. And he said, "Those tears pierced my own heart." And then on COL Live, I want to share a little bit more about my grandfather. Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Hecht went to Israel to study like his father, Shia. And when he returned, he studied by Rabbi Yisrael Jacobson, and he made such an impression on Rabbi Yisrael Jacobson that he married his daughter, and they went to Poland to be near the Frierdiker Rebbe. This is a new Rebbe for him. He didn't grow up with this Rebbe. But after a short time, the war broke out, and they were forced to return to America. Even when escaping the war, he did not break Shabbos, the Sabbath. In 1942, the Frierdiker Rebbe sent them to be the Rav for the community in Chicago, till my grandfather passed away. So remember, he was born in 1917. Was it 1917? And then in 1942, he was, so 1940, he would be 33. So he was 35 years old when he went to be a Rav. He was 35 till 61. So that's 26 years, till he passed at 61 years old on 24 Menachem Av, 1979. In the Hebrew year, we would say 5739. He was known as a passionate and dear and clear orator, speaker, with a distinct style, and had command of English and Yiddish languages, could inspire and move a religious audience as well as a secular one. The Rebbe instructed the seventh Rebbe. So he was for the Frierdiker Rebbe, the sixth Rebbe, and then the seventh Rebbe, the messenger. The Rebbe, or at least he became a messenger. He was sent out even before the seventh and most recent Rebbe became Rebbe. Anyway, the Rebbe instructed he be buried on the same day, and he passed away on a Friday, as far as I learned. And he had the distinction of the Rebbe joining the funeral at the cemetery. The funeral is like the procession. The Rebbe joined and this is not common at all, and he watched the proceedings from the sidewalk, returning to Crown Heights very close before Shabbos. Amongst his many projects, my grandfather's projects, was a radio program. So I will stop here and share more tomorrow. All the best. Bye.